And welcome back to another day of a holiday madness here on my channel. Today we're going to be testing out the not one but two Hourglass Ambient lighting palettes. These are both limited edition, special editions for the holiday collection. We have here the Ambient, oh it's upside down, the Ambient Lighting Volume 4, as well as the Ambient Lighting, what is this one? The Lighting Unlocked palette. So we have both palettes. I'm going to try them out and kind of do a split face. I'll do the Ambient Lighting Unlocked on one side and the Volume 4 on the other side, kind of compare the pros and cons and test out and see if these guys are really worth it for your holiday purchases. So if that sounds fun, then let's get into it right now. So here we are. This is what both of the palettes look like out of their boxes. The actual packaging matches the unicartons, that the Ambient Lighting Unlocked is this really gorgeous like reflective gold, and the Volume 4 Ambient Lighting palette is this really pretty metallic like a pink sheen to it. I like this color, and I think the packaging looks pretty. So both of these palettes, they retail for $80 each, and you get a total of 6 shades in both of the palettes. Now, when I purchased them, I got them both from Sephora, but I just checked the website right before filming this, and it doesn't look like either of them are still currently available at Sephora, but you can still get both the Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked as well as the Volume 4 palette from the Hourglass Cosmetics website directly. So let's start with this guy. This was the first palette that was released, and I kind of thought, oh, this is going to be the one big palette that they do for the year. And so I picked it up immediately as soon as it launched. This is the Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked palette. So this one actually has 6 brand new and exclusive shades that are only found in this palette in particular. So we have these are 2 of the finishing soft light finishing powders. We have soft light and filtered light, as well as the bronzer. This is the called Golden Bronze Light. And then we have 2 blushes here. This is Nude Glow, and this one's Mood Flush. And then we have a Champagne Strobe highlighter. So all of the same formulas that they already have, but just brand new shades in this palette. So again, this is a 100% vegan and cruelty-free palette, and a portion of the proceeds for this palette are actually going to be donated to the Non-Human Rights Project. This is the only civil rights nonprofit organization that is working towards protecting the rights of animals and non-human creatures in the world. So that's a pretty cool thing for this palette in particular, which is why they included this like little extra bunny detail on the actual packaging and on this guy, because like I said, they donate part of the proceeds to the Non-Human Rights Fund. The next palette is the Ambient Lighting Edit Volume 4. So this is obviously one of their annual holiday palettes, being as it is Volume 4. It also has 6 shades in the palette. It has 2 of the diffused light and dim light powders. It has 1 highlighter. This is the Euphoric Strobe Light. It has 2 blushes. This is a Luminous Glow and Euphoric Fusion, and then 1 bronzer, which is in the color Filtered Bronze Light. So out of the 6 shades, 2 of the shades are brand new and exclusive to this palette. They are the Ambient Lighting Bronzer as well as the Ambient Lighting Blush. I'm not sure which one. On the actual Hourglass website, it doesn't say which blush. Never actually used an Hourglass powder before. I watched a couple like tutorials from the Hourglass like website, just to kind of get an idea of how they're going to work. And since I want to do kind of like a half and half to test, I mean, I think I have my suspicions from swatching all of these, which is going to be more suited towards my skin tone. Obviously, I'm a medium skin tone. I'm kind of a light brown. I'm not super dark, but I'm not very pale either. And so I'm going to test them both out. I have a whole collection of brushes here. I was trying to go through my collection and find brushes, like duplicates that have similar shapes, so that we can try to give it as fair a test as possible. Normally, I do like to use a natural hair, this is goat hair specifically, brush for my blush, as well as my highlighter, and I believe my contour brush. Yes, the brush that I normally contour with, these are all natural hair brushes, and I kind of prefer natural hair bristles for these 3 items. But since Hourglass is like cruelty-free and the Edit Unlocked palette is vegan, I thought I will try to not use these and try to go completely synthetic. And I do believe I was able to find duplicates of all of the brushes. Let me zoom in a little bit and let's get started. All right, so I think I'm going to actually start, and I'm going to go in on the right side of my face with the Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked palette. So I'm going to take the 2 brushes that I have. I have some like domed powder brushes. This is the Morphe Y3 and the Morphe Y1. So I'm going to go in with the Y1. I already have my foundation, concealer, and then a little bit of powder I just set under my eyes and kind of loosely over my face with a setting powder, since this is supposed to be a more of a finishing powder. So I thought, okay, I'll go ahead and set the rest of my face, I suppose. And Hourglass makes a setting powder, so I think you're supposed to use them together. If I'm wrong, you can tell me in the comments. So I guess let's start with this first one, this lighter one. This is called Filtered Light. Well, it picks up nicely. All right, so I'm just going to try to start by putting this underneath my eye. I don't really see a lot of a difference, to be honest, but maybe you're not supposed to. It's a finishing powder. All right, so that's under my eye. I'm going to turn the brush over, and then I'm going to go into this slightly darker shade, and this one is called Filtered Light. This was Soft Light, and then I'm going to go into Filtered Light and just kind of set the rest of my face like with that. So I'm just going to maybe even kind of mixing the two a little bit, and I'll keep it in the middle of my forehead. On the chin and on the cheeks. All right, did that do anything? I don't know that it did. Yeah. I really don't see a ton of difference. I mean, there might be some slight brightening under my eye, I think, on this side as opposed to this side. So I think there's a little bit of brightening. It's very subtle though, very subtle. But I think that's kind of supposed to be the point. I think it's supposed to be subtle. Okay. All right, so let's move on. I'm next going to take the bronzer. Go into my favorite, this is my favorite bronzer brush. This is the Morphe R2. And then I think I found this guy. This is the Luxie 502 large powder brush. They're very similar in like the shape and the size. And so I thought this could be, and they're both synthetic bristles. So I'm gonna give this a try. They're kind of big for this palette, but oh well, I'll try to be careful and just go in with the very top of the brush. Ooh, it's a little bit powdery. All right, so picked up some of that on the brush. It actually picks up pretty nicely. And yeah, let's just try it. Oh, wow, okay. That actually works. I did not think this bronzer would do anything. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, this is gonna do less than nothing for me. I wonder how much you can build them up. On the chin. I did not eat ice cream last night. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Contour my chin and no one has to know. It's not super dark. Maybe I just wear way too much bronzer. It's possible. It's completely possible that I do. But this is not too bad. I don't dislike how this makeup is looking today. It's a different style than I normally do, but it's not bad. All right, now let's do the blush. I think there's two colors. I really like this shade, and that is this is Mood Flush. That's like, this is my kind of shade. This one seems a little bit more shimmery than Mood Flush. Mood Flush. So this is Mood Flush, and this is Nude Glow. But I think I'm just gonna try to mix them together and see what happens. Yeah, Nude Flush is definitely more matte, and then the Nude Glow has a little bit of a shimmer. So I'm gonna go in with the Nude Flush first, and then go in with the more shimmery topper blush second. It's just kind of a blush topper, not really as my like big color. For blush, I have two angled blush brushes. I have the Luxie 504 angled brush as well as the Morphe Y4, both synthetic. Oh, that picks up actually a lot of color on the brush. That's a lot more than I thought it would. And then just go into the apples of the cheeks. Oh, wow, okay. You can see that. Once again, I'm so pleasantly surprised. All right, and now I'm gonna go into the Nude Glow color, and I'm gonna keep this a little bit higher. It's a little bit, I really feel like that just emphasized the like texture and dry skin on my face, not really adding much color or shine or anything else, except just like, oh wait, now you can see you have really dry like under eyes. Okay, that's not my favorite, but this one is really, really pretty. I like this blush. It's like one of my favorite colors. I like kind of a dusty rose blush for my everyday blush. Like this is my go-to color, and so I like that. All right, so now last but certainly not least, my favorite part is highlighting. Again, I have the Morphe Y11 tapered highlighting brush, as well as the Luxie 522 tapered highlighting brush. All right, so this is the highlighting shade called Champagne Strobe. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of this on the Morphe Y11 brush. Ooh, that picks up really nicely. That adds actually a fair bit of glow, but I really just feel like this is just emphasizing my dry skin like a lot. Like a lot. And I don't like that. I mean, I like a more creamy, because this feels a little dry. Like actually pretty much all of these, when you touch them, they feel just like kind of dry. And I prefer like a slightly more creamy powder, because then you don't see, like you just, I'm sure you can't see it in camera, but in person I'm looking and I can just see all of like the little, I call them like my Sahara Desert cracking skin look. Well, okay, so this is the side using the Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked palette. And this side has nothing, so I think you can definitely see a difference. Especially on looking in the monitor, I can see like the tops of my cheeks are like a lot more emphasized. I think that's probably from that like blush topper color. The highlight is nice. I went out of control on my nose. Per usual, that's not surprising. Not surprising at all. Let's just try to bronze that out a little bit. Okay, that's better. And I like that blush. That blush is really pretty, and you can see a lot more of this bronzer than I thought you would be able to. So, okay, so far, so good. I kind of like that. Now, let's move on to the Ambient Lighting Edit Volume 4 palette. And I'm gonna put that on this side. Again, I'm gonna go in with a tapered powder brush. And let's see here, for this one, we have the color Diffused Light and Dim Light. So Dim Light's a lot brighter than Diffused Light. And both of these look a lot lighter. I mean, these are the two finishing powders in that palette as compared to these two. It's it's a lot lighter. So I'm gonna be really careful when I go in with these. So I'm gonna take my Morphe Y3 brush, and I'm going to start with Dim Light, which is the lighter of the two. And I'm gonna put that right under my eye to kind of brighten. Let's see, is that doing anything? I think so. I think it looks kind of bright. Ooh, oh my gosh. Yeah, it emphasizes my dry skin so much. Ooh, that's really bright. It's very bright, but oh, I don't like how it looks. All right, so now I'm gonna take the other color, which is Diffuse Light, this guy up here, and just put that over the rest of my face. Yeah, that brightening powder is very bright, but this other finishing powder, I don't really see it doing much of anything. But okay, let's move on. So now I have my bronzer brush, and I'm gonna go into this bronzer. This is one of the new shades in this palette, and this is the Filtered Bronze Light, is this color. So I'm just gonna try, like, see if I can make this as small as possible. These pans are small, and because there's like no division between the shades, I notice I'm getting like a little bit of blush on there. It's kind of, they all just go all over the place. Okay, wish me luck. Ooh. Oh, I don't like this brush at all. I don't like this brush. Okay, it's too floppy. So I'm gonna take this one. This is the Morphe Y8. All right, what's this doing? Okay, that's doing something. There's definitely some bronzer on my face. You can see that. So I think this bronzer is a lot lighter and a lot more subtle than the other side. Like, I'm not seeing really much of anything. You can see a little bit here, but that's also partially due to my natural contour. I have a pretty strong natural contour in the hollows of my cheek. I went overboard with the blush. Oh well, I always do. It's probably to be expected at this point. Okay, so now I'm going to go with a blush brush. This is the Luxie 504, and I think I'm going to start both of these. They seem fairly matte. There's like a little bit of sheen to both of these guys. And we have the Luminous Glow, and then the Euphoric Fusion are the two shades of blush that we have. So I'm going to start with the Euphoric Fusion, kind of like mimicking what I did on the other side. I'm going to start with the darker shade and put that on first, and then kind of use the other one as more like a blush topper. I'm not mad at this tone of the blush. It's not bad. But it definitely, this is a lot more luminous than the other blush. Like, I can already just kind of see in this area, like, it's a lot lighter and a lot more luminous. So, okay, and now I'm gonna go in with the lighter of the two and kind of just keep that on the upper part of my cheekbone. I still like this side. I think I like the color just a little bit better. Oops, now I mixed them. So then last but certainly not least, my favorite, I'm gonna go into my tapered highlighter blush, and this is in the color Euphoric Strobe Light. So I'm gonna take this. I think it's a nice, it's a natural glow. Basically everything about my makeup today is just subtle. It's very subtle. Like, yes, I have a little light natural flush, and I have a little natural looking glow, very subtle contour bronzer going on. And I guess it's fine if that's like your style and what you want or what you're going for. I mean, I don't wear makeup to be subtle. I don't. If I want to be subtle, I'll just not do anything, or I won't leave my house. But everything about my makeup today is just so unlike what I normally do that it's kind of throwing me for a loop. But I'm just like, I I don't know what I think about this. So I'm going to go with a little bit of setting spray. This is the Gerard Cosmetics Slay All Day setting spray. I think that might actually help cut down on some of this powderiness that I have and might relieve some issues with the like dry skin. Oh, I don't like the scent. I got the coconut scent just because it was like super cheap. It was like super duper on sale and I hate it. I thought it'd be better. I was like, oh, maybe it'll actually be like a refreshing coconut. I don't know. I hate all coconut scent. And so many of the hair products for like curly hair are always coconut scented and I hate them. I don't know why I thought this would be better and it's not. Actually, I'm going to spray this on my face, let it dry down a little bit, and then I'm going to go in with a little more highlight. Let the setting spray dry down till it's almost dry. Like, this is a great tip if you want to like amp up any highlight. It's the same as if you would do like any kind of shimmer shade like eyeshadow. Applying it wet works a lot better and it actually amps up everything. So let's try. Oh yeah, that amped it up a little bit. I like that. Okay. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. I like that. So that's a good tip, and I'm glad to know it works with these highlighters as well. Okay. All right, so that is everything. Let me zoom out and I'll give you my final thoughts. In general, it looks so different than the type of makeup I normally do. I mean, even the eye makeup that I did today is just very, very minimalistic. And I'm not mad at it. It's not bad. I was more pleased than I thought I would be with both of these palettes, to be completely honest. So on the right side, I have the Ambient Edit Lighting Unlocked palette, and on my left, I have the Ambient Edit Volume 4 palette. And I think in general, I tend to like this palette just a little bit better. I like the tones of the colors a lot more. I think both of these are very nice finishing powder, as opposed to in the Volume 4 palette, where the two finishing powders, especially this one right here, is very, very light. And so I think for someone with my skin tone, and definitely for anyone with any darker skin tones, it would probably be a little bit, this palette would probably be a little bit too light, especially when it comes to those finishing powders. I do like both of the blushes in the Volume 4 palette a lot more than I kind of thought I would upon initial swatching and looking at the colors, but I still, like I said, I love a dusty rose blush, and so the one in the Ambient Lighting Unlocked palette is by far my favorite palette. And I also just think that the highlighter on this side is a little bit more punchy than what I have going on this side. They're both nice, but I just feel like this Champagne Strobe highlighter is just a little bit, it's a little more glowy. If you want something more natural, this would probably be a good bet for you, but if I'm gonna highlight, I'm not highlighting to make it look natural. Like, highlight's not really natural unless you're super oily, and I don't want that anyway, so if it looks a little unnatural, that's okay with me, and I kind of prefer that. I also think the bronzer in this palette actually comes off with a lot more pigment initially, as well as this bronzer, since it's a little bit more on the matte side as opposed to in the Volume 4. Really, if you have different skin tones, all three of these different colors could be used as a finishing powder. So if someone who is a slightly darker skin tone than me, you could probably use this one to highlight under your eyes, and this one as like your finishing powder, as opposed to the highlight, finishing powder, and bronzer like you have in my skin tone. So I think if anyone is a little bit darker than I am, you would definitely want to gravitate a little bit more towards this palette. I think it's a lot more versatile for all different skin tones. In general, I still liked this. This highlighter is not bad, just a lot more subtle. So I think this palette, if you're lighter or my skin tone or any lighter, or if you prefer just a more subtle look to your makeup, I would definitely go for the Ambient Lighting Volume 4 palette. or, you know, if you're my skin tone, even a little bit darker than my skin tone, although I don't feel like this would work for super dark skin tones. I really think more in just like, you know, the medium, maybe medium tan might be the darkest type of skin tone that's actually going to be able to use a palette like this. But I still think all of these shades are beautiful, and for me, this one is definitely my favorite. It's a winner. I think it was worth it. The other one, I'm kind of on the fence. Was like, I'm not sure if it's really worth the price for me personally, and if I wasn't buying these to review for this video, I most likely would not have bought both palettes. Probably would stick to this one, and I think in the future moving forward, I will look for these types of shades from Hourglass now that I kind of know what I like and what works for me personally. So I hope this video was helpful. You got some good information, had some ideas if you want to pick these guys up for any holiday purchases for friends, family, yourself. And yeah, I was really glad that I got to try some new Hourglass stuff. Like, there's a lot more from that brand that I feel like I have not tried yet. So that was kind of fun. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and like it. And if you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. I'm here the entire month of December testing out all a bunch of holiday releases and new products. We're doing tutorials. It's going to be a lot of fun. So be sure you're here, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single upload throughout the entire month. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all so much. Bye.